54,321. Or, in English, 54,321. And that is the number we want to win this year's Christmas lottery here in Spain. Hello, and thanks for dropping by. Let's have a nice cup of tea and a chat. Today, we're going to talk about Spain's obsession with a fat dwarf, singing children, and the Christmas lottery. Every December, Spain goes crazy about the Christmas lottery, and it seems that by the day of the draw on the 22nd of December, absolutely everybody in the country has bought at least one lottery ticket. And I mean everyone, and I mean at least one, probably 4 or 5. It seems that if you don't buy a Christmas lottery ticket, you're some kind of weirdo, a miserable, antisocial loser who doesn't want to participate in the joyous occasion of collectively contributing an extra voluntary tax to the government on the promise that you might win some money. For 30 years, I refused to buy a ticket, but this year, as my father-in-law recently passed away without having bought this year's number, I have inherited the family tradition of buying the same number that he bought year after year after year. The number 54321. Or, as I hope the children will sing on the day of the lottery, 54,321. This special lottery is commonly known as El Gordo, the fat one, the big one. Why? Well, back in 1839, the advertising for this draw included a short, chubby man who was covered in lottery numbers. Officially known as the Lucky Dwarf, over time this short, fat character became known as El Gordo, the fat one, and the phrase became synonymous with the jackpot itself. Paradoxically, a small person came to represent a huge prize. So, how many prizes are there in this extra special lottery? How much money can you win? And why do children sing the numbers? Let's find out more.
For millions of people in Spain, December 22nd isn't just another day on the calendar. It's the day of El Gordo.
It really is. And it's so much more than a lottery draw. It's a huge national ritual.
A ritual where entire communities, they gather together and they genuinely expect to win at least something.
And that expectation is the whole point. For this deep dive, we're going to show you why this is so different from a regular lottery. It's all about shared hope.
Right. We're looking at the sources to trace its history and really unpack the unique system that, it pretty much guarantees prizes are spread far and wide.
Exactly.
Okay, before we get into the nuts and bolts, let's talk about the name. It often confuses people. The jackpot is called El Gordo, the fat one. Where on earth did that come from?
It's a great story, actually. It's a brilliant piece of old advertising. We're talking way back, 1839.
Wow, that far back.
Yep. They used an image of this short, kind of chubby little man who was covered in lottery numbers. He was officially called the Lucky Dwarf. And the nickname, the Fat One, just stuck to the prize itself. It completely outlived the ad campaign.
That's amazing. Now, here's where the story gets really interesting for me. The tradition feels so festive, so Christmassy, but its origins are, a lot more serious.
Much more. They're rooted in absolute necessity, not cheer. The lottery system itself started in Spain in 1763 under King Carlos III.
Okay.
But this specific national lottery was created later, in 1812, by the Spanish Parliament in Cadiz.
And they had a very specific reason.
A desperate one. They needed to finance the War of Independence against Napoleon's armies. It was, quite literally, designed as a voluntary tax for the war effort.
And from that? that financing tool, this almost sacred ritual has evolved. I mean, the most famous part of the whole thing is the sound, isn't it?
It is the absolute heart of the event. Since 1771, so even before this specific lottery, children from the Royal College of San Ildefonso have been involved.
The singing children.
The singing children, they chant the numbers and the prizes in this unique melodic way that just fills the airwaves for hours on end. It turns an economic event into something else.
Something almost spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And the mechanism itself is so old school, which I love. It shows how stable it is. It's never been canceled. Not for civil wars, not for pandemics.
Never. And it's just two giant rotating spherical cages on a stage. It's that simple. One cage holds 100,000 little wooden balls, each with a 5-digit number. The other, smaller cage, holds the prize balls, all 1,807 of them. A number ball drops, a prize ball drops, and the children sing.
Okay, let's pivot to what you call the economics of collective hope. Because this whole structure is built to spread the wealth, not to create one single billionaire.
That's the key. A full ticket costs 200 euros.
Which is steep.
Very steep for most people. So the system encourages sharing. That ticket is split into 10 smaller pieces called decimos, which cost a much more manageable 20 euros.
And that's what almost everyone buys.
Exactly. But here's the crucial part. Every single number is pre-printed in 198 complete series.
So that means there are 198 winners of the exact same jackpot number.
Precisely. Which guarantees that any big win is automatically split across an office, a local bar, a whole village.
Which explains why you see entire towns celebrating on the news.
Yeah.
And the payout scale is just staggering.
It really is. Of the nearly 4 billion euros in ticket sales, 70%, that's about 2.77 billion, is paid back out in prizes.
70% is huge.
It's massive. And what keeps the hope alive is that over 15,000 numbers will win some kind of cash prize. So vast numbers of people take home at least something.
So, okay, the state obviously does very well out of this too. What's the government's take?
Well, after running costs, the state keeps about 22%, but they boost that income quite a bit. First, they slap a 20% tax on any prize over 40,000 euros. And second, they pocket about 50 million a year just from unclaimed winning tickets.
50 million.
People just forget to check or lose their tickets. All in all, the state can net up to 1.2 billion euros from it.
And that main prize, El Gordo, it's 4 million euros per series, which works out to 400,000 per 20 euro decimo. But you're saying the real magic is in the smaller prizes.
Yes, the Padrea. Those are the 1,794 minor prizes of 1,000 euros each. They're the communal backbone of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It connects that original idea, a voluntary tax for a national cause, to its modern role as this giant, unifying, festive event.
It's the ultimate example of a practical necessity turning into a profound shared tradition.
It is, and it brings us to that lovely traditional phrase you hear all over Spain after the draw, especially from people who didn't win big.
Good health.
Good health, exactly. It's just this wonderful cultural reminder, that even after all this excitement about money, having your health is still the greatest prize. Something to think about when you hear those children singing on December 22nd.
Chat about these questions and write down your opinions and ideas. 1. Describe the pictures. What didn't you know about the Christmas lottery before you read the text? 2. Do you play the Christmas lottery? If so, how many tickets do you buy? If not, why not? And other draws? 3. Do you think that the people who pay for lottery tickets should decide how the profits are spent? 4. Describe the types of lotteries and betting games that exist where you live. Who organizes them? 5. Do lotteries encourage gambling? How do bad gambling habits affect individuals, families, and society?